Hi folks, it's David O. and Karmiel. The clouds are moving fast. It's August, no, it feels like August. It's March 9th. We're approaching the Parsha of Vayakhel Perkudei. This is a double Parsha, and it finishes the book of Shmos, the book of Exodus. Right? And it's a very dramatic Parsha, because at the conclusion of these many chapters, more than 10 chapters about the building of a building, the creation and design of a building, in fact a huge tent, Exodus ends. Now this is an interesting question, because the Jews left Egypt halfway through the book of Exodus. So why does it say that now? Why have we chosen this for the end of the whole book? Well, maybe the Exodus doesn't end with leaving of Egypt. You know, there's a saying that you can take the boy out of the country, but you don't take the country out of the boy. You might say that at the beginning of Exodus, we took the Jews out of Egypt, but maybe we did not take Mitzrayim out of the Jews. With the conclusion of this absolutely remarkable effort of the Jews to follow God's decisions in terms of the creation of the Mishkan, the tabernacle in the desert, the final statements of this are that God's presence descended upon the Mishkan itself, and with this we end the book of Exodus. That is to say, there's completion. Because what was the purpose of Exodus, right? The purpose of Exodus was to reunite the relationship between the finite and the infinite, between man and God. And that is what is recognized by the descent of the presence of the Shekhinah onto the tremendous effort that was made by the Jews in the desert to build this, quote, home for God, a place, a meeting place between God the infinite and man the finite. It is perhaps the greatest reward that man has ever been given. You know, we're right now in the midst of award seasons. The Oscars sad show just went off, and we're between all kinds of other award shows. This was the award show. It reminded me, and I'm going to just pause for a second to divert. It reminded me that it's been a year since we began this, our own massive effort of moving kosherdub.com onto YouTube. And it hasn't been my effort alone by any means. There are a tremendous number of volunteers, people uploading in different places, different cities around the world that we put onto KosherTube. Different content creators, rabbis, rebbitzins, people, adding their willingness to be on KosherTube. All of them we thank. I want to take a moment to thank 6 people especially. Okay. Sam, and I'm using first names because I decided to do this while everybody's asleep in North America, so I don't have permission to use last names, and I won't. But they know who they are, and maybe down the road I can detail it a little bit more. Sam, who is a KosherTube visionary in Toronto, realized the potential of KosherTube on YouTube and did a huge amount to create this entity and to promote this entity, and I am deeply appreciative of that effort. He brought on board Adam, who is a really an internet guru, communications guru, who has been very involved in the networking of KosherTube on YouTube. 2 close and dear friends, Charles and Debbie. Charles is a brilliant programmer, and that really diminishes even what he is. He's more than that. He's a person who is able to secure huge institutions, internet sites, works diligently to do so, There is nothing on the internet that stops him. He works until he solves problems and is successful at it, and combines this tremendous brilliance with a tremendous dogged determination. And he invented systems that would make the transfer of KosherTube, our 18,000 videos from KosherTube.com onto YouTube, which were innovative and recognized as such. And his support, both technically and emotionally, his confidence in what we're doing has been tremendous. Devi, his wife, has worked very quietly throughout this whole process with almost no recognition for the spectacular effort that she has made from a graphics point of view, promotions point of view, Instagram, working closely with Sam to bring recognition to KosherTube on social networking. My son Moshe and my wife Yelena have both been advisors, and really, in the case of Moshe Yitzchak, working very, very hard in the early days to get the videos onto, they were already transferred onto YouTube, to get them out into the public and make the changes that were required. And my wife, who shares every vision that I might have, Yelena, what can I say? Whatever it is that I have and that you have through KosherTube, it comes from her. Finally, and this will tie it back to the Parsha, these creations, although the work of the hands of man, are the inspiration of God. And I am forever indebted in more ways than I can retell to the Ribono Shel Olam, the ruler of the universe, God, for the inspiration, the effort, and the work. Back to the Parsha. After some, I think, 13 chapters of instructions and development of building the Mishkan, the book of Exodus closes, as I said, with the descent of the Shekhinah, of the presence of God into this world, into the Mishkan itself, the meeting place between God and man. What's very important to understand is that in a much more compressed way, God describes the creation of the universe. And the creation of the universe, each item God does dramatically himself, and of course he looks at it and it's good, and he continues to the next stage. In the case of the Mishkan, God gives directions it should be done, but does not do it. God wants us to make the commitment to do it. Could God have done it? Of course God could have done it. And this is the ongoing lesson of the Jew in the world, really the ongoing lesson of man in the world. We can recognize what it is that should be done, but if we wait for God to do it, we're making a mistake. God has created a universe imperfect for us to perfect. We have directions on how to do it. We have initiative to do it. We even have rewards for doing it. But we must do it ourselves. In taking responsibility for perfecting the world and perfecting ourselves in the process, right, we are taking responsibility to be partners with God in the effort, and the effort that He wants to see completed by man. We are the flagship of this effort as Jews. The expectations are very high, the work is very hard, and the rewards are very great. May we see the descent of the Shekhinah into this world visually sooner than later. Have a good Shabbos. Missing you all. Loving Karmiel. Come visit us in the Holy Land. David Ostriker. Bye now.